Welcome to the Athena Wellness Podcast, the show that invites you to take a seat around the community fire and listen to stories that inspire. I'm your host, Kathy Robinson, author, coach, and founder of Athena Wellness, a company that's dedicated to supporting you on your journey to live more wholeheartedly. Hello, and welcome to episode 96. Thanks so much for joining me for this shortened Wellness Wednesday episode, a little midweek boost to help keep your warrior vibe high. Today I'm joined once again by end-of-life, grief, and resilience coach Lee Atherton, also known as Coach Rev. In this episode, we get practical on how we can prepare for the end of life and have these conversations with our loved ones in advance. Spoiler alert, it's much easier than you think when you follow the 5 wishes process. Also, you'll learn why preparing in this way is one of the kindest things you can do for yourself and those you love. And now on to the show. I hope you find this conversation helpful. Once again, I'm joined by end-of-life grief support and resilience coach Lee Atherton, also known as Coach Rev. Welcome back, Coach Rev.
Thanks, Kathy. Good to see you again.
So when we spoke last time, you gave us so much good advice and insight on how to start to plan for end-of-life situations. And I'd like to get a little practical in this episode and talk about some steps that listeners can take to prepare for end of life in a way that feels empowering to them. What advice would you give them?
I would say go to a website, 5 wishes, and that's 5 spelled out.com. It's put out by Aging with Dignity, and it is a document, and it helps you think about the questions to answer. Who's the person you want to make healthcare decisions for you? What kind of medical treatment do you want or not want? How comfortable do you want to be? How do you want people to treat you? And what do you want your loved ones to know? Those are the 5 wishes in this booklet. Even if all you do is take some time to think about the answers for yourself and you don't make it a legal document, although that's very easy to do with this one, it's great. Take the time. It's hard, it's challenging. But take the time, answer one question at a time, let it sit and rumble around for a while, and then be sure to let others know.
Is it a document that you download?
You can download it, or you can actually purchase a copy of it.
I see.
And they're great. They have, it's 5 wishes, and then voicing my choices for adolescents and teens, and they even have a version for younger kids.
Wow.
Like I do, they advocate start thinking early on.
And so somebody would either have a physical copy or a digital copy, go through, answer whatever they're comfortable with. That itself can be turned into a legal document?
This booklet, once signed, every state is a little bit different, but I believe it is just having it notarized.
Wow, that's great. That's great advice. So somebody would have that, and then any other legal documents that they might have, their will, their power of attorney, if there is one, healthcare directive, things like that. Are those types of, not the will, but the directives, is that included in that, or is that something different?
The questions are included in here, yes.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah. And then remind your listeners, although they're listening to me say it, right? Don't just do it and take it and tuck away in your desk drawer or in the back of your closet. Make sure you give copies to folks and let them know that you've done this work.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think the other thing too, that is more of a 21st century concern is a place where they can find a list of your documents, your websites, your passwords.
Yes.
To be able to navigate your digital life, which is becoming more and more prominent, as the years go by, right?
Right.
And then also in that document of 5 wishes, that's also for end of life celebrations. Is that included in there, or is that something else that you would need to give thought to?
That's included in there. And what an amazing gift to give those who are left behind. If you think about it, someone you love dearly has just died, and all of a sudden you've got to put together a whole thing in just a few days when your mind isn't even, that's a hard task even on a good day, right? When you can let folks know. But I've worked with families who their loved one had the whole service written out. And they have said, oh, I'm so glad I don't have to think about this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then again, what of those 5 wishes are most important, right? I mean, I've made it, I can't tell you, I shout from the rooftops. It's like, no pain, no pain, no resuscitation, and big party. That's all you have to remember, and I'm happy. So it can be something as simple as that, but just the more you can give your loved ones a heads up.
Yes.
It really is an act of love.
It is. It is definitely.
Wonderful. Is there anything else that we didn't cover that you would like to share with our listeners?
I'd like to share my favorite quote.
Yes, please.
This has been a part of what's gotten me to where I am, and that I think is a good reminder for all of us. Philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche wrote this: "It is only when there is chaos within that you can give birth to a shining star." So in the midst of all that chaos, know that something bright and glorious is going to come somehow, somewhere, someday.
That's the perfect ending. Thank you so much, Coach Rev, for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I know there are many ways you can spend your time. Thank you for choosing to spend it with me. Until our paths cross again, be kind to yourself and show your warrior spirit some love. If you know anyone who could benefit from today's episode, please pass it on. And many thanks for supporting the show by subscribing and leaving a review. It means a lot, and it helps others find their way to our circle. If you'd like to access the show notes, have a question you'd like addressed on a future episode, or would like a transcript of this episode, visit www.athenawellness.com/podcast. Until next time, be well.